India in 2024 is a nation of contradictions, a story of contrast. On one side, you have an India that's adding millionaires at an insane rate. You know, the number of people with more than $30 million, that's 250 crores to their name, is forecasted to grow by almost 50% in the next 5 years. In fact, we rank third when it comes to the highest number of billionaires globally. Now, on the flip side, there is an India where 75% of people have a total wealth of under $10,000. Today though, we focus our lens on the former, the India of millionaires and the uber rich, the high net worth individuals, the ones who are redefining what luxury means in the Indian context. Bain & Co. predicts that the Indian luxury market could explode to $85 to $90 billion by 2030. Now, these insane numbers really got me intrigued about this luxury consumer. What is it that makes these people tick? What does luxury even mean to them? What is driving their spending habits? And more importantly, for all the entrepreneurs and marketeers out there, how do you capture this segment and build brand loyalty with a group that can literally make or break your bottom line? So to answer all these questions, I went down a rabbit hole over the last 2 weeks trying to understand the market, the psychological and sociological factors behind this new wave of luxury consumerism, trying to understand the cultural factors shaping their choices, and the role of AI in luxury. I have so many interesting data points to share with you, so bear with me till the end because this is going to be a masterclass on all things luxury. Welcome to Breakdown. So I went through 5 reports, 4 of them being global luxury reports, and all 4 of them highlighted India's potential in luxury. Everybody believes the time is right for India to take its space in the luxury space. By the way, I have one more goal from this video. Apart from all the international luxury brands tapping into India's potential, I also feel there's a lot of opportunity for homegrown brands from India to tap into this market. So I'm also doing this because I'd like to provide the future Indian luxury entrepreneurs with some actionable insights. Because you see, this luxury market operates on a set of principles that actually transcend your usual consumer behavior. In fact, the traditional dynamics of supply and demand don't really apply here. It's a very different interplay of desire, status, psychology, experience. So if you can crack that, you have got a lot to gain. Now, let's look at some recent exciting numbers. So the luxury car maker Mercedes-Benz last month reported its highest ever retail sales in a financial year in India. Lamborghini India posted record-breaking sales in India. India, in fact, saw sales of about 47,000 luxury cars, and these are just primary sales, by the way. So the second-hand luxury car sales are a lot more. Coming to housing, you know, DLF sold a residential project with home units price starting at 7 crores each in under 72 hours. That's literally all it took. 72 hours for 3,000 applications for 1,137 units priced at 7 crores per unit. That is insane. And it's not just these segments. If you look at fashion as well, all major fashion houses are waking up to the market potential. In last year March, in fact, Christian Dior held its first ever fashion show in India, and Indian celebrities are becoming the faces of global brands. Deepika Padukone with Louis Vuitton, Alia Bhatt with Gucci, and the list goes on. If you look at jewelry, we literally broke all records. The Deloitte report showed how India has become one of the largest gold jewelry markets in the world. Did you know that Indian households own 10% of global physical gold, which is 25,000 tons of gold as per the World Gold Council? Now, coupled with these numbers projecting growth, the budget 2023 also had a policy which stated that you will now be charged 20% tax collection at source on international credit card spends crossing 7 lakh under the liberalized remittance scheme. Now, this again could drive sale of luxury brands in India because you'd rather spend that 7 lakh on luxury in India than abroad if you have to pay 20% TCS abroad. So clearly, these economic tailwinds and the new rich India is leading us to reimagine the Indian luxury story. In fact, it's not just luxury and ultra high net worth individuals. If you look at the affluent class report by Goldman Sachs, which calls the 60 million Indians who have more than US $10,000, the report calls out how all companies which address a relatively more affluent consumer class have been growing faster than companies which address broad-based or mass consumption. And these trends, by the way, are visible across industries. For example, in FMCG, Nestle grew faster than Hindustan Unilever. In footwear, Metro growing faster than Bata. So all companies that have targeted the top income consumption have seen strong growth. And honestly, this is something that's often corroborated on Twitter by different founders. Look at this tweet by Kunal Shah. And there's one more insight here. When you compare the consumption of India with other countries, for example China, that have $10,000 per capita income, their per capita consumption in leisure, hotels, recreation, out-of-home food is literally 18 to 20 times that of India. So what it shows is that in most of these categories, there's a large headroom for growth as this affluent India rises. Now, I'd like to look at some of the key trends and themes that are underpinning this market evolution. And after that, we'll understand the Indian consumer, which I found the most intriguing. Coming to the market, what we have seen is as this luxury market is maturing, there's increasing consolidation happening with a few key players emerging as partners of choice for all these international brands who want to enter India. For example, Reliance brands, they've literally been on an acquisition spree. They're tying up with global brands like Tiffany's, Valentino, and many more. Aditya Birla Fashion and Retail, on the other hand, has also been aggressive, inking deals with companies like Galeries Lafayette, Ralph Lauren, among others. Other players for Titan, Ethos are consolidating their positions in segments like jewelry and watches. Now, question here that you should ask is, why so many M&As and why are these partnerships becoming a way for international brands to enter India? Well, the answer is these Indian players offer a lot of competitive advantage. For example, they offer instant scale and access to India's luxury customer base. Secondly, they also have expertise in navigating the complex regulatory landscape. Most importantly though, they have decades of experience in India's luxury setting, which is so unique. Because if you look at the geography of India, right, we have these few cities which are leading the way for Indian luxury. And most of the action still revolves around the key metros of Delhi and Bombay. Now, both these cities have well-established luxury hotspots and retail infrastructure. Delhi has a DLF Emporio, Mumbai has Palladium, Geo World Drive, and several high-end retail districts in areas like Bandra, Worli, and Lower Parel. So most of the brands either pick Delhi or Mumbai to launch their first flagship stores in India before gradually expanding to other cities. The customer base here is also substantially bigger and easier to access in these cities. However, the new tier of cities is also catching up. For example, Bangalore, Kolkata, Hyderabad all have sizable and fast-growing HNI populations. On the other hand, we have mini metros like Chandigarh, Ahmedabad, Pune, Surat, who are also seeing an uptick in luxury demand. In fact, I was watching an interview of one of the execs at Lamborghini and they mentioned how you can see Lamborghini in smaller cities like Udupi, Salem or Trichy, which is unheard of until now. Next, let's talk about the rise of Indian luxury brands, which I'm most excited about. See, for years, the Indian luxury landscape was completely dominated by international brands. Domestic players simply couldn't match them in terms of design, quality, heritage, or the ability to burnish a customer's social status. This, though, is changing rapidly. A new crop of Indian luxury brands is confidently holding its own and at times even surpassing international competitors in design language, craftsmanship, and materials. In fashion, we have names like Sabyasachi, Anamika Khanna, Manish Malhotra, Rahul Mishra, who are all setting global benchmarks and dressing international A-listers. Forest Essentials has become a breakout hit in Ayurveda-based luxury skincare and beauty. Hospitality brands, on the other hand, like your Oberoi, Taj, Leela, are ranked amongst the world's finest luxury hotel chains. And this trend will only strengthen as Indian customers, especially the younger set, comes of age expecting brands to have a strong India connect, and this is where lies your opportunity. So, let me now explain the most important piece of the puzzle in understanding Indian luxury, that is the consumer and what luxury means to them. So if you look at this affluent upper class, right, they see luxury consumption as signs of having made it. See, status seeking is a universal human impulse, but it manifests most acutely in societies with high levels of inequality, of which India is a prime example. So for India's elite, adorning themselves and their homes with the latest fashion and accessories from Louis Vuitton, Burberry is the ultimate mark of success for them. Along with this though, luxury is also a way for these new rich to distinguish themselves from the masses. So there's something called symbolic interactionism in sociology, which basically suggests that luxury goods are used as a medium to communicate personal values and identity to others. So each luxury item has a symbolic meaning attached to it that is recognized by the society. Simply what this means is luxury products act as social tools where they serve to communicate symbolically between the individual and his significant reference. See, this whole psychology of luxury spending in India is very complex and multi-layered because it's a pure emotional purchase. So that's when I also noticed that most people often buy luxury items because of the way the products make them feel, not because necessarily they need that specific product or that service. And this emotional connection, it could be tied to the brand's heritage, craftsmanship behind the product, the story behind the product, or the personal significance of owning the luxury item. And like I mentioned earlier, the traditional economic rules surrounding consumer behavior often don't apply to this market. In fact, the law of demand, which states that the demand decreases as prices rise, is actually opposite in the luxury domain. High prices often enhance the allure of luxury products as they symbolize exclusivity and prestige. This is actually a phenomenon known as the Veblen effect, named after the economist Thorstein Veblen, which suggests that for certain consumers, higher prices may actually increase the appeal of a product due to its perceived status symbol. And you know what? Brands actually go nuts to emulate this feeling of exclusivity and prestige. For example, if you're a bag manufacturer and you had extra stock that people were willing to buy at a cheaper price, what would you do with it? You'd probably sell it to them, right? Because more revenue for you. But hear this. In 2018, the British luxury brand Burberry destroyed and burnt $36 million worth of its own merchandise because they wanted to protect their brand exclusivity and didn't want their stock being sold at knockdown prices. Insane, right? And this is a practice that's common among most luxury brands. So you see, the game in luxury is actually very different. This is also why limited edition products work so well. The customers love exclusive members only trunk shows, exclusive previews, events. See, this desire is not merely about owning something unique, but also about the feeling of belonging to an elite club. So the whole idea here is to engage the customer beyond the transactional relationship. Here, you need to build deeper emotional connections with the brand, because in a market where logo fatigue can actually set in quickly, memories and experiences become the true luxuries that brand can unlock. Now, as we understand the psychology and triggers behind these purchases, this Indian consumer can be further divided into buckets to understand them better. Pay note, because this could help you create your ideal customer profile better. So first is the old money. These are India's traditional elite, the wealthy old business family, aristocrats. These folks have grown up with luxury and have the most evolved tastes. They are brand loyal and quality conscious. Next, we have the new money, which are basically the beneficiaries of India's post-liberalization economic boom and the recent first-generation entrepreneurs, C-suite executives, and high-earning professionals like bankers, lawyers, CEOs. They're all cash-rich but time-poor, and they also have a high propensity to spend on luxury. These people also tend to be a little more digital savvy than the previous months. Thirdly, we have the rising affluent. Now, these are one rung below the new money, but this is India's burgeoning mass affluent class. They are mostly concentrated in major metros and are typically mid-level execs, small business owners, and upper middle class professionals. Now, these folks use luxury very selectively to mark special occasions or milestones, or buy luxury for that feeling of having made it. Lastly, we have the Henrys. Now, this is basically short for high earners, not rich yet. These are India's yuppies. That's basically young urban professionals with rising incomes but limited wealth. These are also concentrated in the top 10 cities. They are highly aspirational and they will stretch their budgets to buy into luxury. They are fast to adopt to new tech, greatly value sustainability, and also seek guidance from peers and community. Now, all of these segments are important and cannot be ignored for large brands specifically. There's one more insight here that I'd like to share. See, so psychographically, the Indian luxury consumer is highly status and brand conscious, but they're also extremely value conscious, even at the top end. It's not very uncommon for an Indian consumer to haggle over the price of a luxury handbag, even if she's dropping lakhs and lakhs on it. So luxury is still somewhere seen through a highly functional lens in India, unlike the West, where luxury is majorly hedonistic and experiential. Let me give you an example. Luxury cars in India are priced more for their spaciousness and ability to navigate pothole roads than their acceleration specs. These attitudes, though, are now starting to change, but not among all cohorts, only among the younger folks. So these affluent millennials and Gen Z are adopting a more global mindset when it comes to luxury. So these folks will more likely splurge on experiences over things. They value self-expression over social validation and embrace new and niche brands over established brands. They're also way more digitally savvy and omni-channel in their luxury shopping behaviors. While older generations prefer the whole touch and feel of physical stores, younger Indians are more comfortable buying their luxury products online. In fact, COVID further accelerated this, forcing even traditional luxury houses to embrace e-commerce. So the Indian consumer and the Indian luxury market does require a fundamentally different approach than the West. See, rigid global templates and one-size-fits-all strategies simply will not work here. Brands that succeed here will be those that embrace the diversity and dynamism of India, who localize their offerings and engagement models and commit to being in it for the long haul. Now, I want to go one step further and share with you how can you succeed as a luxury brand in India. Firstly, localize, but don't compromise on your brand DNA. See, this Indian consumer, right? They value brands with a strong heritage and identity. At the same time, they also appreciate a touch of local relevance. So the key here is to strike the right balance where you infuse local flavor and sensitivity into your products and communications without diluting your core brand message. This could mean anything from launching India-inspired collections using local motifs, fabrics, embellishments to celebrating Indian festivals and traditions in your marketing campaigns to tying up with Indian designers, artists and influencers for collaborative capsules. But it should all be done through the distinct lengths of your brand. Secondly, like we discussed earlier, expand your footprint both physically and digitally because India's luxury market is largely unorganized and fragmented. But do not sleep on the opportunity that's there in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. For example, let's say you have an insight about the affluent class in Kochi. So what you can do is you can build your brand online, but your retail store can actually be located in Kochi to serve these underserved pockets of India. Third is product lines. Every brand should look at innovating their product offerings. See, while classic luxury categories like handbags, shoes, watches still dominate in India, there's a growing appetite for novelty and experimentation, particularly among young consumers. So to stay relevant and desirable, brands need to constantly refresh their assortments with new and innovative products. This could literally mean anything from launching India-specific capsules and collaborations to introducing new product categories altogether. For example, Louis Vuitton recently ventured into Indian wedding market with a line of trunks designed specifically to carry bridal trousseaux. These trunks start at $10,000 and can be customized with bride and groom's initials. Next thing that I feel like every luxury brand needs to focus on is the customer experience. I feel like I can do a whole another video just talking about customer experience and luxury. And this is also where a lot of Indian brands falter. So you see this Indian luxury consumer, right? They've traveled abroad, they've shopped or visited these global stores, so they expect the same experience here. And not just through one touch point. This experience needs to be replicated through every single touch point from online to retail, and both are evolving rapidly. According to Deloitte Global Research, 60% of customers still prefer to shop in physical stores. 47% prefer to touch and feel the product before buying, and 70% regard shop assistants as crucial to their shopping experiences because of the professionalism and knowledge of the product. The retail report by Altagamma showed how retail competition globally is also escalating. So more than ever, small brands need to do something different to stand out. For example, check out all these stores. See, these Indian consumers value relationships and respond well to brands that make them feel special and valued. So this was during my first few jobs. I was working in an ad agency and one of our clients was a luxury jewelry brand. So I'll give you an example. One of the customers had their anniversaries coming up and he wanted to gift his wife something special, so he reached out to the store. Next day, the store manager along with the jewelry designer was at this customer's house designing a ring with some really unique stone based on this customer's preferences. Now it doesn't end with just creating or designing the ring. Next, what they did was they booked one of the most expensive hotels, that's Umaid Bhawan in Jodhpur, where this couple could go and this person could present the ring to his wife. Then they got a whole team who could shoot the whole thing for them and create a short film out of it and gift it to the couple. So even though the only thing that the customer asked was for a special ring, but this brand went above and beyond to provide this customer with the most insane experience, and this is what luxury is all about. So this Indian luxury customer expects to be treated this way to build that affinity towards your brand. Because think about it, okay? These are all ultra high net worthy folks. They've got crores lying in their bank. So purchase decision for them is never a function of the price. It's largely based on this experience and the story. In fact, while I was going through the BCG Luxury Consumer Insights report, I found a lot of insights around this that I'd like to share with all of you. So they called out how majority luxury brands are so focused on functional issues that they are not addressing the emotional differentiators. In fact, less than 50% consumers are happy with their luxury customer experience because, again, a lot of brands have cracked retail, so they're completely focused on that and nobody's spending time on the digital experience. In luxury, phygital, that's digital and physical experiences need to be blended. You cannot think about one and ignore the other because that will create a lot of digital discontent, which is happening currently. In fact, based on the report, consumers are saying that online massy brand retailers are providing them a better experience than the luxury brands. Let me call out some of these emotional differentiators I'm talking about. So one of the customer was like, while browsing, I felt like I was completely alone when I needed human guidance online. Second customer was like, online payments felt so cheap. It felt like I was buying groceries online even though I was buying an expensive bag. One of the other customers was like, the online chat was about as luxurious as that of a car rental service. Now, talking about the product arrival, the at-home unboxing of online purchases is again completely neglected by brands. 70% of consumers found unboxing extremely important and felt when they received the product it was totally anticlimactic. 65% said that brands are missing to provide an extra surprise in their package. A small note or a small gift or some sort of personalization is totally lacking. You see, if a person spending lakhs on a product, they expect everything to feel like an experience, from unboxing to the delivery to the order, every single touch point. Now the question is, how do we solve for all this? See, for a lot of the functional issues, right, there's already a playbook that's been written by international brands, so you can directly learn from them and copy that. But when it comes to emotional differentiators, that is where you need to gain profound understanding of each journey that your customer is undertaking and strategically decide what role you want to play at each touchpoint and channel along this customer journey, allowing them to unlock an emotional connection with you across all channels. Now, this was majorly about the customer experience, but there's one more thing that luxury brands need to focus on. That's your storytelling and marketing. You need to tell authentic and compelling stories for every single product. Like I said, luxury is still more about status than self-expression, so storytelling becomes all the more important. Indian customers are drawn to brands with rich histories, unique identities, and compelling narratives. They are desperate to know what this brand stands for. And for this meaning-hungry customer, you need to go beyond product. Now, these could be stories highlighting craftsmanship or heritage behind the product, stories of purpose, showcasing brands' values, social impact, or it could be stories of people, spotlighting the designers, artisans, and muses that bring a brand to life. For example, in the ad agency I worked for, we had a lot of senior designers and all of them would wear these March Tea t-shirts. So this was back in 2018 when March Tea had just launched. And every time I asked them that these are just simple t-shirts, why are you spending so much more on them? And the designer's answer was very interesting. He was like, I don't know, this product feels like it's made for me. The whole unboxing experience, their storytelling, and the box comes with these pencils. I love it and I feel like these are the only t-shirts I'm going to wear for the rest of my life. And today you have unlimited ways to tell these stories. You can do experiential events, there are art installations, pop-up museums, coffee table books, podcasts, documentaries. The possibilities are endless. The whole key is to create immersive and multi-sensorial experiences that transport this customer into your brand universe. And I'll tell you the exciting parts. A lot of this now can be provided not just offline but online by leveraging AI, AR, the metaverse. For example, in 2021, the gaming platform Roblox hosted Gucci Garden, which was basically a virtual recreation of a real-world installation in Florence. So just like its real-life counterpart, the Gucci Garden in Roblox offered various theme rooms paying homage to the brand's campaigns while transcending the laws of physics. Next, to engage with Gen Z, Tiffany and Cartier collaborated with Snap to let people try on their products virtually through AR technology. They basically used ray tracing technology, which is very common in video games, and translated the sparkle of metals and diamonds onto AR objects that mimic the movement of light. Cartier used an AR filter and created the Cartier Tank Watch experience, which was again insane. The customers could view 4 editions of the watch from over 106 years, as well as observe images of pedestrians on the bridge to gain a sense of the 4 different eras. And honestly, it's not just with storytelling. Brands are now leveraging tech and AI in various fields to stand out. From enhanced personalization, customer profiling, supply chain logistics, demand forecasting, inventory management, to authenticity verification, AI is literally being used everywhere. For example, Burberry uses AI to identify counterfeit products. Another great example is Estee Lauder. So AI Solutions is helping Estee Lauder companies companies enhance the online customer experience of all its luxury brands. They collaborated with Google Cloud to introduce AI-powered solutions to better understand customer sentiments. They're also using GenAI to reduce operating costs by streamlining operations and simplifying their business workflows. Additionally, in an effort to help visually impaired people use cosmetics, Estee Lauder companies recently launched a voice-enabled makeup assistant based on AI and AR. The first artificial intelligence fashion week, organized by Mason Meta and backed by Revolve, also took place at Spring Studios in New York in April 2023. In spite of its name, AI Fashion Week is a competition aimed at finding and launching new designers, just like the Louis Vuitton Prize and other luxury companies' competitions. More than 350 contestants designed runway images with GenAI and displayed them on 24 screens. So, like you can see, this space is ripe for innovation. Another interesting space where technology is driving change is sustainability in luxury. So, a lot of luxury companies are adopting strategies for moving toward a circular economic model. Circularity within luxury is basically a model of keeping garments away from landfills through rental, reuse, or reselling. In fact, the European Union is leveraging tech to develop a new set of regulations intended to hold companies accountable for the impact they have on the environment and society. So they have come up with something called the Digital Product Passport, which is basically a digital tool proposed by the European Commission to promote transparency and circularity. And how it works is, it's basically an archive that integrates information about the entire life cycle of the product, including raw materials, water usage, energy consumption, manufacturing processes, production site, transport details, literally everything end to end. And this data is stored securely and accessed by authorized users, making it accurate and reliable. Then you also have something called digital IDs, which are basically a QR code or an NFC tag inside a product that contains information about its origin, care instructions, styling tips, and repair, resale, recycling services. In addition to finished products, digital IDs can also refer to fabrics, materials, or components. How this is useful is, it helps customers make conscious and informed decisions and also helps company battling with counterfeit goods by identifying the last party that owned the product. Brands like Mulberry and Chloe are adding digital IDs to their products by 2025 as part of their circular economy programs. You see, with growing awareness around environmental and social issues, affluent Indians are increasingly seeking out brands that align with their values. So, brands that can offer sustainable and ethically made products without compromising on quality or style stand to win big. Ultimately, all of these innovations, decisions, all need to be looked at from the lens and the North Star metric of customer centricity. So, whatever enhances their experience, their affinity towards your brand should be a priority. Succeeding in the Indian luxury market will require a fine balance between heritage and innovation, inclusivity and exclusivity, global and local, high-tech and high-touch. Because the Indian luxury consumer in 2024 demands no less. That is all for today's breakdown on luxury. If you like the video, please share it with your peers, the future entrepreneurs who stand to win big from this market. Thank you for watching today's video. My name is Achina Maya. See you in the next breakdown and don't forget to hit the subscribe button.